welcome back to the Realist Podcast. Yeah, we back. We here with Dr. A.E., of course. You know, we here on this Friday night. I told you to come back. I told you we'd come back tonight with you and, A.E. said he want to come back to share some love on the show since we are back in action for show. Anyway, check it out. Tonight's show is called, what's that? We back. Yeah, we back at it.
I'm here.
Yeah, okay. Anyway, tonight's show is called Imagine America Reborn Show. See, let me let you know where I'm going here. I hope you understand that the earth is a celestial body. So if the earth is a celestial body, that means it has a memory. That means it understands who is who and where who comes from. See, a lot of times, a lot of countries are in disastrous situations because they have what you would call leadership that is feeble-minded people in leadership positions is what I really want to say, because that's globally at this point. See, it had to do with a lot of these things with when lying came into the play. You see what I'm saying? So, what did I tell you a few shows ago about lying? Lying alters realities and aspects that really puts the world in a place where it cannot mature. It can't get to a space of maturity, simply because immature people chose to use aggressive, childlike, immature tactics, but they were adults and they were beings that could really be effective with the tools and weapons that were implemented on indigenous societies, indigenous peoples globally, and then act as if I'm not responsible. I didn't do that. My ancestors did. But you take the position of leadership and you're still in a position of you're incoherent to the planet. That makes most people in leadership positions globally, um, they're not fit for the job. Their eyesight or their mental eyesight, what you call vision, is inept. So that makes them inept for the position. It makes them inept to even participate in leadership. But yet and still they do. And it also exists in corporate America. Great leaders are always in a middle management position, and they can elevate simply because they need people like those middle upper management position people to be and make people great at their positions, which they should do these things. And I would say anybody that has a job and it functions, and even in the corporate environment like I do, I advise you to do the best job you can do, because you would think that if you have or you put yourself in a position, to retrieve financial gains, that means you should always put your best foot forward, simply because ain't nobody playing with you when you fuck up. Ain't nobody playing with you. You're going to be the first out the door. If you didn't put your best foot forward, you no longer are in the position to retrieve those higher gains. That's how that goes. So the reason why some people won't ever achieve positions of higher gains are because they don't have the skill sets to do so. So they have to do one thing: alter their situations, which meaning they tell lies. But what if, and I want Dr. A.E. to come in on this one, because this is extremely important. And, your validation is extremely important when you come on the show, Dr. A.E. So I try to put things in specifics so that when I know you go out and grab them, you're gonna chew it up. So here it is. Imagine America Reborn And that is going to get us to the place where we need to go to achieve. So imagine if people didn't have the capability of lying. And what if lying, time you lie, there's an applicable consequence, meaning you don't choose to be accountable in that. Accountability chose your ass. See, it's happening too slow, but now it's speeding up. So I want you to elaborate and add on what your thoughts about that, Dr. A.
Well, you always have to look at the root of why people lie, right? People usually lie because they're afraid of something, or they want something that they know is unequal, meaning it will either be unequal to another person or even cause harm to another person, right?
Sure.
Whether it's physical or otherwise. So the issue is then whether that lie is that truly intentional to hurt, or that intention in which they don't want to hurt. Because we've lied to people not to hurt their feelings.
Absolutely.
Right? So the issue is, what is the core and why? And so going forward, right, when we talk about a different world, then that means we're talking about a world in which certain people are no longer in control, right?
Absolutely.
Because the things that they do, breaking treaties and manipulating and everything that they do, we all know now, and they have not all but most will now readily admit, even most of those in power will readily admit that it is because they fear not being in control.
Oh, yeah,
Because
that's the
if
fact.
they're not in control, then they have equivalated that to um, the failure of their survival. And so, again, once a person has put that in their mind that this is what it takes for them to survive, then, of course, there's nothing that they won't do. So these lies in their mind are necessary, right? And that at all times the end is going to justify the means, because it's their survival that is at stake. And so when we look forward into the future, and we look into a future where they aren't in control anymore, particularly if we want to use this country as a primary example, right?
Sure it is.
Because the control that they inert, and the control is based upon their population, right? The fact
Sure.
that um, they populate this country more than any other group of people. But as we know, in another 15 years or so, there will be more minorities than them, right? And so
So hold on.
that
Go ahead.
that in itself, hold on, though,
We gotta change the terminology. We gotta change the terminology. That minority terminology is just older terminology. I like to say.
well, what do you want to say? People of color?
I would like to say the global majority. I got that out of
Okay,
Sharon Hunter's book.
but
We are the
we're
global
dealing
majority.
just with, okay, the global
For real.
majority
Mm-hmm.
as it relates to this country, then
Mm-hmm.
will be in the majority of this country, right?
Mm-hmm.
It won't just be globally, it will be in this country. And everything that has been based in this country has been based on the sheer numbers, right? This is why they do the census. This is why they say this area gets this amount of money, this area gets that amount of money. They base everything on these census and these numbers and this population, right?
That's right.
But the thing about it is going to they're going to lose that, right? They're going
It's
to lose
inevitable.
that basis that they get to claim, right? That
It's
everything
inevitable.
is done with on sheer numbers.
Yes, sir. Yes, indeed.
So then when that happens, right, we have to be very careful, because then you have the chance of creating these oligarchies and this oligarchical society, right? And we're being we're being prepared now for cultural apartheid. And so we have to be cognizant of that. So these lies that you speak of, right? We have to look at the root of them and why they're being told.
Okay, understood. I can agree with a lot of what you said, but I tend to have a different perspective when it comes to what you would call races. Uh, it's a lot. It's about I say at this point in this many years, probably about 8 million uh, Black Americans or American Indians that fell on the lighter side of the game without melanin or pigment in their skin. They had no melanin. And they actually, even if you look at the Pope's mother, she was one of them people that ran to Chicago and actually changed her identity to be white. See, a lot of identity shifting was done prevalently, and it only cost $5. So we got a lot of $5 Indians that
Right.
has overran every single tribe or indigenous tribe of the Americas. Those people are playing, they're cosplaying. There are
Right.
no indigenous, pale, nowhere tribes. Those are, but when you understand, I would like to say, when you don't understand the complex, and I know you do. I'm not talking to you, Dr. E. We have an audience. So there's a lot of complexities with what they deemed or created. The only thing they created was race, right? See, you didn't understand like pale complexion, and they paid a price, and every time the sun touches their skin, they pay the price for the shit that they do. You understand what I'm saying? So these hateful projections are simply because that's a child not ever want that's a disobedient child never rendering to their parents and taking all of their hatred out of their parents. How am I created this way? If you think about these things in a very simple perspective, you think about how a child that looks at their parents and they didn't get the good genes out of the parents, they got genes that they're just unfamiliar with. Just like a child that got albinism. They said, well, both of my parents were black, but I was born without the melanin in my skin. Now you imagine that turning into fucking rage. And then identify with how you can project your hatred and your rage on everybody that has what you don't have. So you lie and you put yourself and everybody else in jeopardy. The pale complected European has put the planet in jeopardy out of rage and jealousy. These things are simply seen because of the nature. And this is not all pale or Caucasian complected people, because you have the very opposite of you that love you so much, they want to be you, they'll die to be like you because they have a very high dosage of self hate. Because of the parallels of us as human beings and the diversity and the complexities of how we view and see ourselves. You know, some people tell themselves they hate themselves every goddamn day, and I don't even understand how that is possible. But they do it. I would advise you to stop. Don't ever say any other awful word about yourself. That's the only sin. You tearing yourself down, defeating yourself, and creating a fucking monster. Learn how to love yourself in every intricate way possible, regardless if you have pale skin, dark skin, and everything else in between. It's just you. But that doesn't mean elevation ends. How many people look at people like what's his name? Dirk. Dirk Nowitzki. Then you got the new Luca. Luca is competing. Luca is like the new Paul Pierce. Footwork ain't that good, but his goddamn shot selection and and the way he showed himself his mid-range game and that shit works. So Dr. A.E., the complexities of us, dark skin, light skin, melanated, non-melanated, everybody got melanin. It's just levels to all of this. But see, the thing is, what's deteriorating now is that pale complexion is superior. And we know that's just not true. We always known that wasn't true. Elaborate, please, Dr.
Well, that was the whole thing, right? How did they psychologically deal with being actually the abnorm, right? 3/4 of the world are people of color. So the 1/4, in order to psychologically compensate, they tell the rest of the world that I'm the norm, you're the abnorm, right? And that they then realize, right, that abnormality actually does put them at a disadvantage, right? Because
Absolutely.
particularly during everything up until at least the second industrial revolution, right?
Oh,
Because
yes.
up until then, the whole world, all the way through at that point, was based on a agriculturally based world, and
Society.
then
Multiple.
and
Yeah.
then economy, right?
Yes. Absolutely.
And
Who can
so
produce?
when
Break
you
that down. Break
cannot
that
be
down a
out
little
there,
bit. Break
mhm,
that down a little. It was who had the skills to produce. Go ahead,
right?
brother.
And those skills were developed because they had the ability to be out there and work and learn because experience is the best teacher,
Yes,
right?
indeed. And
So,
repetition. And
right,
repetition. Yeah.
that's where experience comes through, right? Repetition.
Yeah.
And so when you can't, and other people are, and they're doing this for centuries,
Mm.
then you have to come up with ways to compensate. And so you just simply control. And they've done it in both economically for agriculture as well as economically in trade. And I'll give you a quick example.
Stock
When
exchange.
European want to break into the East Indian trade, right? Where everything was going from Africa to India to the Far East.
Yep.
When they came over, they brought two things. They brought wool and they brought rum, right? Okay. First thing, they said, what in the world we gonna do with wool in Africa? What are we gonna do with wool in India? Because we
Too hot.
already have sheep and yak
And,
from
yeah.
the Far East. So
Yeah.
we don't need your wool. Second thing was rum. Why we want your rum? We get sake, we get all these other stuff, all this other stuff. We get corn liquor, we got all of that.
Corn, potato,
All of this, right?
sake. That's rice. That's potato, and that's corn liquor, which is corn liquor. Is like ether too, right? That
So
shit can become
why
ether.
why do we need your rum, right? And so what Europeans did was they simply then began to raid the trading houses and physically kill people to take over the trading houses.
And
So now they
ports.
control the trade
And
because
the
they
ports.
couldn't produce
They can produce.
to stay in the market. And so that's the prime example there of what we're talking about with melanated people versus non-melanated people, or people who have a very low low number, for lack of better terms, right now, of
Well,
melanin in their
yeah,
skin,
they
right?
lightly
Because
melanated.
they
They're
can't they
less
can't keep up
melanated.
they can't keep up agriculturally, right?
Right. Right.
And
That's a fact.
agriculture still dominated up until all the way up until the not the first but the second revolution, industrial revolution. And even then they still had to colonize because the industrial revolution does not happen. The industrial revolution does not
George
happen
Washington
without
Carver.
it doesn't happen without palm oil. So who's gonna go create? Who's gonna pick and get all of the palm oil that's gonna help? You need melanated people again to go out there in that, because that again is agriculturally based. So here again, you have to come up with a way to control because you cannot compete
With
with,
production.
with your own work production. So that's that in a nutshell, right?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So, and due to the fact that the Earth, and we're gonna get back to it, is a celestial body. And I say again, the Earth is a celestial body. That means it has a functioning system that provides and feeds and nourishes all of us. But when you have a perverted being that can pervert a system and that can also pervert food intake, that's why they call the FDA the Food and Drug Administration, because foods are drugs. All the sweets that you like, all that sugar, that processed sugar, that white sugar is a drug. That drag your ass into the grave. I promise you that. See, the thing is, a lot of you people, and I hope that you understand that everything ain't about taste. I'm gonna tell you something about taste that's very delicious. It is my brother, Dr. A.E. My baby destroyed the jam that he gave me. He said, just taste that one right here. Let me just give you that one right here. Just taste it to see how you like it. I just want you to get this one. What flavor you like? I got jam. And he's a farmer. Okay? So you understand my family. Both of our families come from generations of farmers. Understand what hands mean in the dirt. For one, every time I tell you I want to help with something, like, I want to do that. He love that kind of shit. I do too. But my wife, we farmers. You see what I'm saying? See, farmers, when you got your hands in that dirt, you understand that you are a very old, ancient being that come from very old, ancient people. And your behaviors and your aspects and the way you act and the way you actually be, the way who you are actually an expression of your ancestors. And I've heard some people say their ancestors are just dead people. And I'm like, how could you must be a dead person. You have to be a dead person if you don't think your ancestors lived through you. So imagine America reborn. If you imagine America reborn, you will sit at the top of the throne. Because you are the agriculturalist, you're the doctor, you're the herbalist, you're every being that you ever wanted to be and knew how to create it to be if you really understood who you were. So back to the story. Dr. A.E. gave me this damn jam. It was gone in 2 weeks. This is condensed, good. I'm talking about you. All you need is a pinch to spread on your bread with some butter and taste the pureness from true hands, real fucking hands, real godly hands that got that good nectar and made it so precise and accurate. That's godly. You see what I'm saying? People don't know nothing about that. But see, the thing is, you look down on farming. I don't want to do this and do that. Hell, we are the best. Why all the black farmers are successful and all the white farmers need government assistance so bad? Because we know when our hands hit the dirt, it responds to us because the earth has what? A memory. Dr. A.E., please elaborate, sir.
Well, I think that the quick thing is and understanding is, you know, it's that whole issue of whether or not you're going to figure that, whether you're going to think that you're going to unify and be one with Earth, or whether or not you feel like you got to conquer Earth. And that's what it comes down to.
Ooh. And I heard a lot of Caucasians, go hunting and they do all these things. And they use their weapons, and they say shit like, "I'm gonna make Mother Nature my bitch," and I'm like, "Oh my God, that hurt my heart." Please don't say those things around me like that. And she hear you too. The ground that you walk on, you gonna make your bitch because you got two legs and stand on it. That's no vision. You should never say those things about Mother Nature, and you should, God knows, never say those things about yourself. Because let me explain something to you. Every time you say you can make Mother Nature your bitch, that means you want to fuck your mama? Is
Mm.
that what you're saying? Is that what's coming out your mouth? Come here, mama, I want to fuck you. That is just, you see, that's grotesque. That is what you would call incest to the most demonic and that's just the word one of them old school words. It's called it's demonic and it's grotesque and it's abomination. To fuck Mother Nature is an abomination. That's what happened when you drop bombs. That's what happened when you think lesser of your human counterparts. Especially when you have verbiage and the ability to speak, to resolve and have solutions to resolve problems, to save people's lives so that they can live the life that they have, because they got here for a reason, just like you. And you put yourself above people, and you are the lowest grade on the totem pole. But at the end of the day, I told you this is a celestial body called Earth. You may be able to bomb, but you have no idea what is set for your ass when you think about your unwillingness to have empathy and sympathy, your unwillingness uh, to love thy neighbor, your unwillingness to tell the truth, your unwillingness to be a human, your unwillingness to participate, your unwillingness to not understand that you are not a supervisor. No, you are not a god. You are what you would call are you are equivalent to a scavenger. That's what you're a scavenger. You take, you rob, you rape with no refuge. You don't understand what justice, reciprocity, truth, order, love, and jubilee. You know what jubilee mean? Oh, you don't understand the jubilee. You don't understand nothing about a jubilee. So that means even if you harm somebody, you owe them restitution. Fuck reparations. Restitution is what I need to build these indigenous Americans anew.
Mm.
It's very simple. Hey, you got something to add?
Mm. No, I think you kind of hit the point there. I mean, it comes down to also that realization, right? Um, you projected your inner thoughts and your ideas on everybody else, right? You felt like you needed to control, and I'm talking about the low melanated Caucasian people. You felt
Yeah.
like you needed to control other people because they would automatically threaten your survival. But that's not what history has shown. History has shown is that people have done the opposite, that they have shared with you. You simply went in and took what was shared with you. You took it.
Just took it.
And so that was the projection that you had, right? Just like when you have, and I always tell people to think about it, right? Just
Keep
like when
going.
all of, why do all of, well, not all, let's say 90, 98, 98, 99%, right, of the quote unquote alien movies, right, is combative, right? Is combative. And even E.T. had a combative essence in it, right? It had a combative part in it, right?
Oh yeah.
So every well, I take that back. Just about every,
Some but not all. Some
right?
people, not
Just
all.
about every ideology you have, you project your own, and it's always combative. It's you against Mother Nature. It's you against other people because that threaten your survival. You even project that on other life forms, aliens that come. They coming to kill too. We got to fight them too. You fight everything, everything. And so, what mentality is that, right? And I always, and you do too, and we both uh send people back to look at the book Iceman Inheritance, right?
Hell yeah,
Looking at the basic
boy,
psychology that makes them fight everything.
every damn thing.
Everything is combative with them. Everybody is against them. When that history shows us that that's not true.
That's just not true. Everybody just lives in your head rent free. Like nobody thinks about you. The only thing that people, melanated people, think about less melanated people is the fact that you're so goddamn combative for no reason, and you're so fragile. That's the problem. Your fragility makes everybody else worse. It makes everybody weaker. We are a collective. We are a body of people, and your fragility keeps us from moving forward as a collective. Because it's like the remedial person that wants to be the supervisor, or the remedial person that says, "Wait a minute, I need you to slow everything down for me because I'm slow, and I need you to break it down shotgun style." So you just bring the shotgun out and say, "Pow! Stop, listen to me, God damn it! I'm disruptive, and I got power." And that's the so opposite of even when you came on the scene and how humanity was moving in the first place. Do you know you set us back 2,000 less years, which makes us 4,000 years less setback from when you came on the scene conquering things? And I mean that because you give references to the Greeks, which were thieves. They stole all the gods of the Kemetic people. And then the Kemetic people were given gods from the Americas. And the Americas have, and see, when they tell you some shit come all the way around the world and come back to you, you see what you made of what the shit that you have done and given people, and they have never displaced principles so awful. But then when the Creator comes back and get a lesson that he didn't even never earn. And that's why they call us the lost tribes of Israel. And they don't even understand what the fuck that is. It's Isis, Ra, and El. And they had names before that was that. So you already knew this was coming, but you don't even know how to call yourself who you truly fucking are. Who you truly are. Not this Israel and fucking all these. Man, those are false names. And you worship false gods. Because the baddest trick in the motherfucking world is praising or giving reverence to a book when more that's in you that exists higher in levels than any manuscript. And that's your DNA. That's your remembrance. That's who you're supposed to be. You will get food up in that goddamn book thinking it can give you something that you have already have, but you have to get to know you to get to that spell. See, the thing is, that book will keep you, it should keep you as a good whatever. Whether you're a Christian, Muslim, that book should keep you in a good solid space to where you don't harm humanity and not manipulate humanity. But until you can reach beyond that book, when you stay in that book, you become a reprobate because you're not learning you. You're not learning who you are and who you're supposed to be because you keep on fucking around with a book that you think God threw down from fucking heaven and gave your stupid ass. You are the most important person to you. You should be. You are the most important person that you have tried to be to develop yourself and be the best version of yourself and then develop that motherfucker better. Because if you don't know how to do those things, you're gonna become a hateful reprobate. Cause that's all that book gonna make your ass is. It does it to all you motherfuckers. It get all y'all ass. I promise to get y'all motherfuckers every time. The Bible said, what the fuck you say? What you think? What you mean? What you know? And who wrote that motherfucker? You always going on what somebody told you. You should go on what you know. Hey, E, please, Ed. We about to get out of here soon. You gotta
Well,
give them.
oh
You
yeah,
gotta slap them. Yeah, you gotta
I
slap the
definitely
shit out of
will.
them real quick.
I am on the grind tonight, brother. I'm behind and I'm on the grind. I know you see me looking over at everything.
Hell yeah, I know. I
I'm
see
working,
you.
brother. I'm multitasking tonight. I'm just
You
calling like this
good.
guy
You
is.
been good.
I'm multitasking tonight.
All right, go on hit them with the last words so we can. When you go on, I get them when we get up out of here.
Well, the thing is, the historical truths, right?
Mm,
The historical truths don't always coincide with what is written in that book,
that's it.
And when we say historical truths, we're saying what other people have written, said, and chronologically,
chronologically. Yeah,
right,
they did it. They did it.
placed in some type of written form as well, right?
And put dates on the motherfucker
So
as if they were true. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
and so, you know, there's the issue, right? And I'm gonna leave this one alone. I'm just gonna leave it at that. There's the issue that it was written in some forms as being these allegorical stories, right? To teach
Mm-hmm.
lessons. But we have taken all of those allegorical stories and said that you must believe that they're true. And if they're not, if you don't, if you don't believe that there's true, then there's a problem. And so you got to believe that Jonah was in the belly of a whale for days and then got thrown back out on the land.
Mm-hmm.
And so that that in itself, right, goes back to really what you just said. And I'm gonna leave it at that, right? What part do you use your own common sense and your own understanding and your own life experiences to go with what's in that book and realize, okay, this is the story that book is. This may not have exactly happened like that, but this is what I should have gotten out of it. Because I remember when this, that, and the third happened to me or my uncle or my someone else that I knew. And those are the things that you take in it, and that's when it becomes a much more a much more realistic,
Palatable
right,
source.
palatable. I say that um source exactly. So I'll leave it at that.
Yes, sir. But I think you hit you reach some places that I may have lacked, and I'm grateful for that. I appreciate you, my brother. And that's why we're a good team, and this is a good tandem, man. I just think people need to open up their minds and understand. And I think that's what we're here for. That's what we're here to do. Get a little pissed off, get a little angry sometimes, get a little frustrated, but we always know we are our own peoples, man. We're here for each other. We're here to learn together. We're here to appreciate what each other have to offer. I appreciate your comments. And I appreciate y'all comment and ask more comments and beat it up with the comments and let me know what kind of shows you want to listen to because I'm gonna keep going. And I'm gonna keep talking about what the hell I want to talk about. But if you got some suggestions, you want to go a little deeper, and take some deeper dives. I got a hell of a library. As you can see, I don't mind reading. I read a lot on the show. I'm not incompetent when it comes to sharing information, interpreting, and expressing. That's what we do this for. We do this to learn. We do this to grow. We do this to be the best version of ourselves. And that don't always mean a motherfucker not cussing. Or I don't need motherfucker not being yourself. I'm talking about the best version of you. So profane language is just that professing at a higher level. It ain't necessarily harming nobody. You just got to pick up what somebody put down sometimes. It ain't all about your ass either. Practice some selflessness. It's healthy. It's always healthy to look out for somebody. It's always healthy to give somebody a rebirth as well, a second chance, a second land in life. It's always healthy to have a heart. That's the show tonight. Hey, E, any words?
No, I think that pretty much sums it up.
Yes, indeed. So anyway, people, uh, rebrand yourself, rebrand your mind, rebrand and renew so that you can be reborn. Because America needs to be reborn. And that takes morals, ethics, and clarity. You notice my favorite part of the show? Because that's it tonight. But come on, you gotta say it with me. Shamon! You know what I'm saying? Say it with me, goddammit. Notice my favorite part. The will is yours. And don't ever forget that shit. Be
God
cool, be
bless.
easy.
One love.
One love.